And we go in live. Any second now. There we go. Should be there. Okay. Today's stream we voted for on the Discord server, and immediately the moment I start streaming, of course, I need to set my my render settings back to medium because my PC doesn't like it otherwise. We're going to be working on this guy. I more or less have the basics for this guy, but he's just like kind of boring to fight. Let me also real quick change around my audio output to this, and then I can enable so you can actually hear the music in the game, because I don't know, I guess we care about that. So we have this guy, right? And does he have more than 1 HP at the moment? He does. But you see, he's kind of a little bit boring to fight. And he shouldn't be like overly dramatically difficult, because he is the tutorial boss fight, right? But there's a couple of issues. Number one, a lot of his attacks, like that attack hits, but he's also got that one sword swing which just simply misses if you keep standing right next to him. Let me try to... Yeah, that one, right? So that one is a bit of a like, what even are you trying to do there? So I really don't have a plan yet, is the issue, as to how to improve this fight. What I have done, and I'll just show you, surely it is somewhere in here. We can look for the knight in blueprints, and we have the behavior tree. So what I have done before is I split up his AI into, I need a new mouse so badly, into 3 phases, right? Which all these 3 phases effectively have the same AI, just with progressively more aggressive stats to them. I'll just go over and show you real quick. So here, going into this, first and foremost, we check whether or not the HP percent is over 70. Improve the fight by adding camera motion. I'm not entirely sure how that... I'm not entirely sure about that. His walking speed is set to 300. And then we have like his combat state and his passive state within this phase, and they just simply alternate every like 35 to 45 seconds of aggressiveness, and then he is passive for 12 to 18 seconds. If we go to his middle phase, which is when he is between 30 and 70% HP, he stays in his aggressive phase longer, 40 to 50 seconds, and in his passive state shorter. So 7 to 13 seconds, and he's also got a walking speed of 400. And then the last 30% of HP, he's got a walking speed of 450, and he stays in his aggressive state for 55 to 65 seconds, and only for 7 to 9 seconds in his passive state. And there's a couple of other stats around here that are just set to more aggressive the further you go into the actual fight. And that does improve things, because it gives the player a little bit of an opportunity to like learn what this fight feels like and what this guy can do. But then once you've landed a couple of combos on him, you get to like the main bulk of the fight. And then towards the end, when you're like on edge and when it really matters, he becomes a lot more difficult. Thing is, you get through this phase relatively quickly, all things considered. So maybe we need to tweak things a little bit in that regard. So let's go through this again. In general, I think his attacks need to be a little bit more threatening, because at the moment he's just got like 3 different sword swipes, one to the left, one to the right, and one that just entirely misses you altogether. And it's really easy to just kind of cheese him by just like, okay, I'm dashing through you, I'm attacking you twice, I'm dashing through you, I'm attacking you twice, or 3 times even, and just do that over and over again. And then when he does this attack, that is when you're supposed to actually be able to attack him. And this might be like a fundamental design issue, to be honest, but he doesn't do that attack until you have taken away a certain amount of his defense bar, right? And he also can do that, which is less than great. If you're not prepared for it. So with that attack, there's kind of the issue that if you get hit once, you are like immediately pretty fucked. Also, he just, because he can't see me, he has no idea what the fuck he's doing. Like, if I get into his peripheral vision, he becomes aggressive again. But that might just be a case of don't worry about the fact that his body is deforming. We'll fix that at some point in the future, probably. Okay, so now he's just being passive. I mean, I can do this. Okay, yep. So yeah, as you can see, right now he should be at his most dangerous phase, I think. I think this is under 30% at this point. Feel pretty confident in that, and I died. So, actually, as far as like difficulty goes, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. That's a bug for another day to iron out. As far as like difficulty goes, I don't think it's actually like too easy at this point. I think this is actually pretty good, if not a tad too difficult. It's just like not an engaging and fun fight. And that's kind of where the issues come in. And I just need to do something to make it a little bit more engaging. First and foremost, like that swing attack that he does there, is like entirely pointless. I mean, the only thing that can do is like, I suppose if you're trying to, even if you're trying to dodge these through jumping, right? You even dodge that one, so that one just straight up doesn't hit you. So there's no reason for that attack to exist. But you see, I did list this as one of the potential things that we could work on today, because I thought it might be interesting to troubleshoot this live on stream without any plans. And the deeper we get into this, and we're only like 5 minutes into it, 10 minutes. The deeper we get into this, I'm like, maybe I should have like planned this out before actually going live, trying to find a solution to this, because I feel like this might need a total rework and just like sit back down and design a boss fight from the ground up. That might be the way that we fix this, because I think I don't have many ideas as to how to improve it. Like, we've got that attack, and that attack is kind of neat. I like that attack. Okay. First and foremost, one thing that I do want to do is we want to change the fact that he like can or cannot see the player. I want to change, it shouldn't take that into account. Well, No, we shouldn't. Can we not plug that into there? We cannot. Okay. Let's just... This is distance to player is less than 500. Let's just make that the only condition there, because I think the attack reorients the boss fight toward you anyway. And the fact that you can just like sneak up behind him now and he has no idea what the hell he's doing is not the issue that we're working against here, but it is certainly a issue. So if we do this, okay, he will at least just turn around and attack. That is good. That is fine. So let's use that one in all of these instead. There probably is a way to like make these into subtrees with parameters. Let me actually like test that out real quick. Can we do that? Is that a thing that we can do? I know subtrees are a thing. Just don't know how to work with them. I've never really used that before. Can I just for shits and giggles, right? If we say behavior tree, basic demon, can I just like, no, I can't just pull that in. I'll have to look into that at some other date. That's fine. This message log we're going to put somewhere there. At some point this game will be on Steam, surely. I just don't know when, because it's a very big project and I'm doing it all on my own. So one thing at a time, but whenever it releases, whenever I even get a Steam page up for it, that's one of my goals this year, is to get off my ass and make a Steam page so I can start telling people to go wishlist this game, because I still don't have that. But whenever we get to that, I'm sure that I will mention it a lot in a lot of streams and everywhere. But for now, we're trying to figure out what to do with this. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. With this boss fight. So let's just fight him again, and maybe I will randomly get some inspiration. How's about that? I don't know, I liked the idea of being able to like dash through enemies when I implemented that, I think last week. It does make this boss fight even more cheesable though, which is less than amazing. Do I have any games up I could support? I do appreciate the question, but as of right now I don't have anything up for sale. But you know, watching the stream, watching videos, being in the Discord server, potentially, all that kind of stuff is also a way of support. And there's Patreon, there's YouTube memberships, all that kind of stuff, if you want to directly monetarily support it. I hate myself. I really need to fix this bug where if I get hit during a animation, does it disable my damage box? I wonder. Okay, it still does disable my damage box, just not my particle effects. That's interesting. I'm also dying against my own boss fight. That's never a good sign. Oh yeah, so when he's passive, he actually does run away from you, which is kind of fun, but doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think what he should do when he's passive... Okay, so no, I think I have an idea. Right? So we should go a little bit more Mario boss with this guy. And you might be wondering, what the hell does he mean by Mario boss fight? Because that doesn't seem at all relevant to what we're doing here. Mario boss fights very specifically have an attacking phase and then a phase where you get to attack them. And if you fuck up during that window, they go back into their attacking phase where you just have to run away and defend until you get to another window where you can attack them. That is the idea. So in this passive state, what we should probably do is, rather than having him run away, we should just have him like rest in place and give the player a little bit of opportunity to attack. And then during the combat phase, we should make him even more aggressive. There is, in some videos, maybe even in the description of this video, there is a link down below to a test build, like a prototype build of this game, where I don't know what the last time is that I updated it, so it might actually be a broken build. I should fix that. If you want to try out and just like have fun with it, it would help a lot if you also filled out the Google form that is linked with it after you've played it for a little bit of feedback. But if you just want to play around with it a little bit and see how far along things are and how they feel and what they look like up close, there is a prototype build available there. It's kind of Souls-like, kind of hack and slash. It's a little bit of it in between, and there might be opinions about it being in between. Usually I don't like games that are in between genres. I'm like, if you want to make one genre, you make one genre. If you make another, you make another. So I'm just being a hypocrite, is really what it comes down to. Oh, there's also a whole ass fucking node that I missed out on. So, okay, so let's try to do that. So what we do is... How are we gonna like technically do that is the question. That does require like a rework of this AI to a certain extent, I think. For now, for testing purposes, let's just disconnect that node. And what we're going to do is we're just going to, whenever he's passive, he's just going to stand still and wait. And if we're going to do that, we might as well actually just disconnect this one instead. Let's do that with all three states instead. And the difficulty in there still is that he's going to stand still for shorter and shorter periods of time as you go through the fights. Tried tackling AI for my game today, got lost on how to do anything. Yeah, it can be a pain. Let's see, we want to maybe... This should be like 1 point, oh, not 0 point. Well, let's just go down to 1 second. Let's just make him attack really, really quickly. There's still probably a pretty good chance that he's going to be very easy to cheese with this. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So we still have the teleporting attack that he can do. Okay, so what is the... Like, what is the loop in this fight as we speak. So the loop will be, we run the fuck away for 35 to 40 seconds. It's not particularly engaging, especially since this is what the fight starts as. So that is an issue that we're going to have to overcome in a second. Then after about half a minute, a little bit more, we get about 15 seconds to absolutely go to town on him, which is fine. That lowers his HP and his defense bar. Ideally, what the player should do is lower his defense bar to the degree where he can do that one attack where he gets stuck in the ground, but not fully empty it, because if he empties it, he will regenerate, and you don't want that. So that's another potential issue. Ideally, though, you get him to about like 50, 30% defense, at which point he will like unlock the ability to do the attack where he gets stuck in the ground. I just realized that I have a teleport attack that checks for 60% HP in a state that only happens when you are over 70% of HP. So this we can just remove entirely. Anyway, so he can do that attack where he gets stuck in the ground, which gives you another opportunity during his aggressive state to attack him. That is the idea anyway. So we need something more engaging to do during this state, though, than just running away. Because at this point, first and foremost, we need to make sure that attacking him during this phase is like non-viable. And at this point, like, it kind of still is quite viable. As you can see, like, we can do 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, dash. We can still cheese him. He's a little bit more aggressive about it, but we can still very much cheese him. So maybe we just need to, like, in his attacks, add in an attack that does, like, almost AoE type damage. And it needs to be a more visual indication for when he is aggressive and when he is non-aggressive. I mean, we could just literally make him invincible for the entirety of the fight. I don't know, it feels like I just made the fight easier somehow, even though I made him more aggressive. I don't know how I managed that. Okay, I still did die. I guess I just was a little bit more in, like, the groove of things. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, I know, that does make sense. That does make sense. What I did is I... I didn't finish that sentence. I'm sorry. What I did is I set the cooldown for, like, the choosing abilities, which includes the heavy attack. I needed to also set the cooldown to 1 second for abilities that do not include that. This will make him much more aggressive, and this might make it unviable to try to spam attacks on him. But I feel like it won't. I'm gonna be real with you. Well, he is more aggressive, I'll give him that. Like, quite a bit. This is still a viable strategy, but it's slightly less effective and quite a bit more dangerous at this point. And specifically for, like, speedrunning purposes, this would, like, be the strat, right? Getting good enough at the fights to the point where, oh no, to the point where you can, like, time that properly. Come on. Do the thing. Do the thing. So that is like a semi-decent... There needs to be a more visual indication for when he teleports in as well, to let the player react to it a little bit more, because at this point it's quite difficult to tell. I could have sworn that I included some particle effects when he teleports, and I have not been seeing those, but maybe I've just not been paying close enough attention. I don't know. Okay, so the alternative strategy is to just kind of... Hold on. We need to do one more thing. We need to add a stop movement into this. So the alternative strategy at this point is very boring, and that is literally just running around until he stops chasing you, at which point you start attacking him. And that is, like, this is not fun. Especially since you're so fucking far ahead of him in terms of speed. Like, this is not riveting gameplay, right? The game of the year 2024. Without a doubt. Like, nobody wants to miss this thrilling gameplay experience. Like, everybody... I'll be rich, is what I'm saying here. This is the best game ever created. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, fucking got nothing on this. This is the boss fight so far. Okay, so now he stopped chasing me, so I can go absolutely nuts on him for a little while. At which point he will, like, there needs to be a more visual indication there. But the point is that 30 to 40 seconds that I just ran around him and just waited him out in that phase, very much not good. Like, that felt like I was running around for 2 minutes, to the point where I was like, does my AI actually work? Because this doesn't feel like 30 seconds, and that's not a good sign. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, is give him something that, like, closes the distance between you and him. So when the distance is greater than a certain amount, he has a, like, 50% chance of using an attack that, like, teleports toward you. Because he does have that one teleporting attack, right? That one that I am going to try to goad him into doing now. The opportunity... Well, that is only for, like, for the first phase. The opportunity to attack him does become shorter. It maybe is a little bit too long as is, especially if there's going to be... Like, he should be at roughly the amount that... Oh, that's very lucky on my part. Like, he's got this attack as well, right? So if I just make a version of this attack where he only teleports and slashes once when you get too far away from him, just to close in the distance, I think that might improve matters a little bit, just so you're never really safe. Then again, you need to be able to be somewhat safe in order to allow the player to, like, heal up every now and then. Yeah, the whole damage taking on the health bar is satisfying. I might look into that. At the moment, that's not really on my priority list. But you're right. Like seeing the health bar tick down with, like, a little section color, but that requires actually, like, a remarkable amount of extra work, which I'm not really into at the moment. But I do like the idea If I'm doing something like that, I'm going to do it in that way and not having damage numbers. I don't like having the player interface too much with numbers, to be honest with you. And seeing like actual damage numbers, I always dislike that. Like I really, really like Final Fantasy. I don't like the fact that damage in Final Fantasy is done through numbers. That's something that I, for instance, in Pokemon like much more. The fact that you have HP bars, and for your own HP you see numbers, so you have more information there. But some amount of like obscuring of information, I think is a good thing. I'm not saying that you're suggesting damage numbers, but it's a suggestion that I've had in the past. I'm like, I don't like damage numbers. But it also depends on the game, right? If you're making a more like Diablo style game, it makes a bit more sense. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. So let's try to make a ability for him to teleport in and just like do one swipe attack. I think that works decently well. So what we'll do is, since we already have an ability that more or less does that, we can just like teleport attack simple. Maybe not caps locked. Teleport attack simple, and I can just reuse the code from this and like simplify it, because like fucking look at this thing. This is a lot. But it's mostly because it's got like an attack 1, attack 2, attack 3, attack 4, attack 5, and attack 6. So what we'll do instead is we'll just make this one simple attack. At which point we also don't need to like bind or unbind anything. We don't need to find another location to teleport to. We don't even necessarily need to unbind this. On complete, we can just end the ability. At the moment, and I'm thinking I probably need to make attacks that like unlock as you go through the boss fight, and maybe the boss fight in general just needs to have more HP as well. At the moment, the phases don't really like. It's difficult to tell one phase from another, unless you're paying like real close attention. And I do think that playing through it, it feels a bit better. But the only way that these phases are really different from each other is just the fact that I'm changing a couple of numbers in the behavior around. So I've got this walking speed, which increases through the phases. It starts at 300, which is about half of the player. Then it goes to 400, which is a little bit more, of course. And then 450, which is, what is it, like 70-some% of the player's speed. So it becomes more difficult to run away for large periods of time. He stays in his aggressive state longer as he goes through phases, and his passive state becomes shorter and shorter. At the moment, that is the only difference between the three states. There probably should be some amount of like new attacks that unlock as well, and some amount of visual change definitely is a good idea. I just don't necessarily know what yet. And maybe I'll just have like a particle system around him that goes from like green to orange to red or something like that, to show a little bit of subtle, well, not particularly subtle, but the thing is I'm not going to make separate models for every phase, because that's a lot of fucking work. Like this guy in and of itself, making this dude took like 12 hours, all things added up. I'm looking forward to doing more of that, because I've got like 6 extra dungeons and bosses to make and program and animate and whatever. So I'm trying to keep things simple, but still in a way that's fun. It's a difficult thing to balance out, honestly. Don't really need to like bind to next attack. I don't even know what that Oh, that's an event dispatcher that I just made for this. I don't think we need to do that, to be honest. Just whenever we go to next attack. Where is that? Attack 1. Where do we actually call this? We don't call this anywhere. Call next attack. Oh, that's where we do it. Okay, so we simply just call attack 1 there. And what we'll do instead is, first and foremost, we'll get rid of that print string now that we finally have this opened up. Can get rid of these as well. This is a fucking mess. The montage to play, however, we will... Can we just like make array? Let's promote it to a variable. And we'll make it an array. And that's going to fuck things up, I am aware. Give it a minute. It'll figure itself out. And then we'll just get a random item from the array. If we compile this. I think we have 3 teleport attacks, right? So we have got teleport attack 1, 2, and 3, and it'll just be a random one. That way we only need to make one ability for it. Two abilities I think really would be nice in the other phases could be some AoE attack and some defensive abilities like a shield. Specifically a shield is probably not going to happen because I've got a boss that is specifically themed around a shield and defeating it rewards you with a shield. So I probably don't want to mix and match that too much. But an AoE attack in like the form of a 360-degree sword swipe around him is something that I am thinking probably is a good idea to start adding in phase 2. So he doesn't do that right away, so you can get used to him a little bit, but then when he goes into phase 2 he becomes a little bit more dangerous and start doing that as well. This in theory should be a one swipe teleport attack now, is the idea. So let's try to implement that. We have when the distance to player is less than 500. Otherwise move to player. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll also make a... Why is this even a sequence? It's only got one output. What the fuck? Let's make that a selector instead. So we'll check if the distance to player is greater than a certain amount. And then do that attack. So if we are in between like 500 and say 1,000, let's try 1,000 for now. If we're in between 500 and 1,000, what we'll do is we'll move toward the player. If we're more than 1,000 units away, that is where we do the ability that we just made. That will just be teleport attack simple. So that way there is still an opportunity for speedrunners to cheese the ever-living hell out of it by staying within that relatively small window where he doesn't attack you, where things are just safe. Then again, I do think that if you're gonna like cheese this for speedrunner purposes, the best way will still be to like attack, dash through him, attack, dash through him, attack, dash through him, which comes with its own set of risks. So maybe we should make that window a little bit smaller, but there should probably be a window where he's just like attack, like running after you anyway. He's not going to do that though, because I need to actually grant him that ability. I always forget to do that. I wish there was an automatic way to do that. There probably is something. But let's just... No, don't know what French ability. No. Yeah, okay. Teleport attack simple. I mean, do feel free to come back later. It's gonna be... The rest of the stream is just gonna like get uploaded to YouTube anyway. So yeah, no, that definitely. Okay. Maybe not entirely what I had in mind. Yeah, no, I think maybe, potentially, possibly, we should let him wait between those attacks, eh? I think waiting a little while between those attacks is probably a good idea. So let's make this a... The funny thing is that it actually does end up becoming a sequence, after all. So what we'll do is we'll do that ability and then we'll wait. 5 seconds. Does 5 seconds seem good? 5 seconds seems good. It also seemed like he wasn't teleporting to the player, so there's probably going to be a little bit more bug fixing needed there. He do be dancing though, you are not wrong about that. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And okay, he doesn't actually do the teleporting thing. Why not? Find location for teleport. Check teleport location. Doesn't do anything. And then we teleport to that location. Okay, the issue being... Like, there's one big issue anyway, right? And that is that he starts off immediately doing that as well. Okay, so now that there's nothing in between us, you should be able to do this, right? Why are you suddenly faster? You shouldn't be faster. Okay. This one should probably abort lower priority. Just turn off on the light so it matches the boss flickering. Easy fix. Just like that. We can just... It's not a bug, it's a feature. Okay, so he does have some trouble teleporting through terrain. That's gonna be an issue. And we don't need to wait an entire 5 seconds either. 5 seconds is way too much. Let's just wait 2 seconds. And then... we do need something, some way for this only become viable. Maybe it should be only... Maybe we should have a 4th state where he's just like full HP and he doesn't do that. And then once you've hit him once, he starts doing that. Or something. Because the fact that he... Well... Because the fact that he gets stuck here like that, oh my god, is not great. But running away from him is a lot more difficult now, so that's a good start. Like, I like the idea, and I quite like the implementation, other than the fact that it introduced another fucking bug. But it does once again kind of push the player toward doing like this, and this should be like a cheesing speedrunning strat, and not the actual strategy for the fight is the issue. And it's also fucking difficult to dodge. So I don't know about that. I'm not entirely sure. It probably should just be a timer on this as well. So if we like timer, cooldown is what it's called. Once every 5 seconds? Probably even less, right? And after a certain amount of time, he should teleport toward me, and he definitely needs to have more of like a tell when he teleports. Because yeah, I used to have particles for that. For some reason I don't anymore. What the fuck is up with that? Let's fix that as well. Apparently I forgot to re-add those in when I moved this to the gameplay ability system. Spawn system at location. I definitely have that, but I don't have the particle set, that's why. That makes a lot of sense. Now, what did I call those? That's the question. Night Appear 1 and Night Appear 2 is what my guess is going to be. Or the other way around, one or the other. So I just never gave them values. That makes fucking sense, doesn't it? Okay, let's see if this makes it any easier to react to. Nope. That in no way, shape or form helps at all. That's portal particles. And like vanish particles. Okay, so hold on. This is the vanishing particles, and then we have the okay, so the portal particles, hold on, is that one, which okay. I'm working this out. Hold on. So what we should do is we should, before doing any of that, spawn in these particles in the position that we're going to be appearing in for, let's say, 0.1 seconds as well. Then we spawn in the portal particles with another 0.1 seconds, so that gives you a fifth of a second to react, which is probably good enough. Maybe. We'll see. Let's check out this one again, because that's also just a burst. Or rather, it it just it goes for half a second actually. That'll probably be fine. Let's see. I need to implement it into the actual teleporting. Holy fuck! Okay. I need to implement it into the actual, like, big teleporting attack as well at some point. That does help. I'm thoroughly confused as to why it's not spawning in the other particle system. But that does help, and it does look pretty good. So why in the ever-living hell is it simply just not spawning in this other system? Is it literally just because the particle system is an issue, or does it have something to do with... Oh, hold on. Maybe it's something to do with the location. Now get avatar, factor location. No, that shouldn't be it. Oh, yeah, no, this one does spawn at 000, to be fair. So this is going to leave like very big and semi-intensive particle systems all over the place. Except that it doesn't. Except that it just straight up doesn't. Also, it teleports... Oh! Yeah, it still has issues with the collision of the stage. Knight appear 1. Okay, let's go through this again one step at a time. We have the teleport to player. We first spawn in particles at actor location. Which has in no way be changed before, right? No, it has not. Okay, it's just something that I wanted to check. So this should just spawn it, straight up. And it doesn't. Let's not auto-destroy. And see what that does. When you disappear, you should be spawning particle effects. Why aren't you? At least when you're appearing, you spawn particle effects, but that still doesn't really give me the heads up that I need to properly react to your spawning in. These are the vanish... Oh, vanish particles. I am just an idiot. Okay. Night vanish. That's a different particle system. Fuck me. And then we have the appear particles, which are these ones. Which shouldn't be the galaxy. Should be Night appear 2? Night appear 1. And we'll change that to a better looking particle system in the future. At the moment it's a really ugly particle system that doesn't fit like the theme of this guy at all. Yeah, that's a good start. He disappears in a second. There needs to be a little bit more time in between for sure. So what we'll do is we'll just real quick make this a literal float and set this to 0.2. So he disappears. We wait 0.2 seconds. Then we spawn in the next set of particles. Wait another 0.2 seconds. And then for these ones we do wait 0.1 seconds because those do need to be pretty instant. So the entire teleporting between disappearing and reappearing should take half a second now. Which I think is pretty good. So he disappears, and I do think that that gives you a little bit more of a heads up. That said though, the fact that he has difficulty teleporting through this thing is kind of annoying. But let's check. Could you please, like, not message me when I'm live on stream? Thank you very much. Okay, so now he's just standing about for a bit. And then when he gets back, he should instantly try to teleport attack toward me. It's gonna be a second. Teleport attack. Teleport attack. Try the teleport thing. Why aren't you doing the teleport thing? Because you are in phase 2, even though I haven't damaged you yet. How'd you manage that? No, seriously, how did you manage that? Because this is HP percent greater than... I'm going to just put this on the other monitor for a bit and check out what he does in real time, because this doesn't make a lot of sense. Now that he's done that, he's back to to his normal state. Okay, so something here fucked up. It's quite easy. We just put on a different one, which has we are greater than 30 and less than 70. That should disallow this phase to activate before this, because this phase doesn't have the teleporting attack yet. I need to re-implement that in a moment. I just want to check out whether or not it works in here first. Now that we're talking about teleport attacking anyway, let's not that one. It's this one. No, that's teleport attack simple actually. This one doesn't have the teleport attack at all. It's this one that adds that in. Let's add in the vanishing particles and stuff. So vanish particles might appear to system and might appear one system. And these should be a little more aggressive, not that much, but a little bit more aggressive than the last one. So we spawn the vanishing particles, we wait, I'm gonna say 0.15 seconds for this one. It needs to be a little bit faster than the other one. And then we do all that shit. And before we do that, we add in another node here, which is our appearing particles. In between which we add another delay of 0.2 seconds. So that makes that attack a little bit more manageable to deal with as well. Man, I'm already tired. It's been a long day. It's been a long couple of weeks, honestly. Yeah, again, we should just disallow him to do that attack for a while. Okay. I think the next thing we should add in is the AoE attack. So that we can stop people from cheesing too much like this. Because this is maybe not the best boss. Being able to cheese him like that. But you know what? Yeah, with those particles added in, that attack becomes a lot more fair again, which is good. Yeah, maybe also make that distance a little bit smaller, because that's a thing now that we can do. So, let's set that distance to like 350 instead. It really is quite annoying that I need to do this in each individual tree here, which again, if I figured out how these subtrees work, which I know is a thing. Like, I'm not going insane, right? That is a thing that you can do. I just don't know how. Is it just selecting and like collapsing into subtree? I think I already tried it actually earlier. Let's just Google it real quick. Unreal behavior tree sub tree. Nested behavior trees. It's a niche topic in behavior trees that get well pretty fast. Artificial intelligence behavior trees, behavior tree node reference. Let's see. Yeah, this is not what I'm looking for. Like, I'll just show you actually. This is the thing that was linked. These are just behavior tree tasks. This is not a subtree. Like, this is something entirely different. Unless it's like somewhere down on this page. No, it's not. So this person just doesn't understand what we're talking about. Either that or I am imagining the fact that this feature exists, but I'm fairly certain that I'm not. AI subtree. I can see a video about it here, but I'm not going to watch like a 20-minute video live on stream, so I'm just going to run behavior, search behavior, soft tree. What an amazingly long video for something that probably doesn't need to be that long. Which honestly, like, some of my videos also fit that definition, I won't lie. Oh! Okay, so what we can do is there's just a node called run behavior. And that lets you run a behavior tree inside of this behavior tree. It just needs to have the same blackboard. It doesn't really fix what I wanted to do, but it's good to know that we can do that. Okay, we learned a thing today. Probably we'll do a little bit more research on that and note it down for a video, because that is interesting stuff and there's not a lot of people making info on that online at the moment, it seems like. All that said though, let's connect up the we need to make a little bit more room, I think. Let's connect up the teleporting attack in the other two states as well. And give this boss fight another test run. So yeah, this needs to be shoved in there somewhere. I have a plugin that automatically resizes comments. I'm assuming it also would work on behavior trees comments with those nodes, but I don't have that plugin enabled, and at this point I don't really care. We'll worry about the timing of the later states for the teleport attack later, because I think honestly maybe I don't know what the timing in the first state for it is right now. Is it good? Is it too fast for the first state? Is it like still too slow? Because there's 5 seconds between every teleport at this point. Logically speaking, we should do something like make that 4 seconds here and just like make that 3 seconds here or something. But that might be a little overkill, I don't know. Okay, again, probably should keep it from doing that. Is there any way in the world that we can say, hey, this cooldown that we have here, start with that enable or something? I don't know. Probably like a tag cooldown or something like that. Could do that. I'll think about that later. Also, we definitely wanted to wait after, not before. I had an idea in my brain, and maybe not a great idea. An idea where he waits, then teleports, and then waits again, but I don't think that that works very well at all. Okay, at least like he does get closer. But if we're just literally running away, I suppose there's always the chance that he happens to teleport right in front of us. But for this attack, maybe what we should do is we should always have him teleport in the direction that we're running in. I think that makes a lot more sense for this one. This is teleport attack. We already have that figured out. We need teleport attack simple. So, and that will make this one a little bit more workable as well. we just need to rewire a couple of things. So the actor location that we're creating here is from the previous function. So instead of just getting a random vector unit, what we should do is we should get the player character. Actually, let's keep that around for a second. Get player character, get forwards vector for the actor itself, forward vector, split this structure pin and then put the X and the Y into those. That way we'll always have this guy teleport right in front of the direction that the player at that point is running toward. So if you're just running in one direction, you're going to run face first into him. What you should do is when you see him teleport away, you need to be cognizant of the fact that you need to change directions. And then you can still very easily we need to change a couple of things around, I think. But for now, let's just test if this works. Because right now you can still very easily say, oh, he teleports, he vanishes. Now I'm going to change my direction and I'll just be fine. What it should do is it should... No, it can't do that, actually. Well, it can. He should vanish. And he should calculate the position that he's going to spawn in at the moment that he spawns in the first particles. Not when he first vanishes. Because there is like 0.2 seconds in between that. You missed my knight teleporting attack on every frame, which looked absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, so let's just make this like 400, 500, 400. Just to test this out right now, right? I mean, it works. Works a little too well at the moment, because he still does at the start of the fight, but okay, now that actually, like, if I decide like, hey, he teleported away, I'm going to, that still is a pretty tight window, honestly. You need to really be paying attention. If you just like, oh, I need to, okay, yeah. There still is an issue with him teleporting like into there, which we'll need to fix. But that should actually be not that bothersome to fix, I think. Actually, no, it does require quite a bit of reworking of my code. But it's something that we'll have to do. Yeah, with the particles added in, it does work a lot better as an attack, doesn't it? The whole teleporting thing. Yeah, because we're just using the sweep for set actor location to figure this out instead of tracing. So let's disable the sweep, and what we'll do instead is we have this teleport location. Just gotta move a couple nodes around here real quick. Don't mind me. This one is going to move up to here as well. Yes. because what we're going to do, and then we need to have a reference to the night boss as well. What we're going to do is we're going to calculate the player, the ideal position that we should. God damn it, that's loud. Here we calculate the ideal position that we want the boss to be in. But if he can't be there, we still need to give him a location to teleport to it. So what we'll do is we will do a capsule trace by channel, which will start at the get player character, which we already have a... No, we don't. Get actor location. And we will end it at our idealized position. Then I remember now the issue that we have there. Okay, hold on a second. I'm thinking. I'm doing a lot of thinking right now. Player can take... Depends on what level your HP is at. You can like level up your HP. But at like default level, I think 4 on this boss fight. More on normal enemies, of course. So if we trace this on visibility, I guess we can add an actor to ignore his traces too, and we can just add the floor to that. It's probably the easiest way to get around this, honestly. So I'll probably end up doing that. Yeah. For now, though, let's... I don't know why we need that. Get... capsule. Do we have get capsule components? Half height. And radius. Just copy those over. And we'll just open up our test night here and add a quick variable. Actors to ignore teleport trace. That's good enough. And that will just be a list of actors, which will be set to public. So before we actually forget to do anything with that, let's give that a value. It's got to be somewhere in here. Actors. Why isn't it? Did I not compile? I did not compile. It's also not an array. It should be an array. So that way we can say, hey, this guy which is in the persistent world. And this guy as well. No, this guy isn't. I don't know if there's a reason for him to be in the persistent world. I guess we'll find out. Just move this to selected level, please. and try again. So you ignore this guy, and you ignore that guy. And then I think the return value here is if hit true. Yeah, okay, so if hit is true or false, we need to execute the same function in two different ways. So if the hit is not true, so if we don't collide with anything, we just use our idealized location. If we do hit something, we want to break the hit result and get our hit location. I think that works. So you should slap me the fuck in the face right away now. And even if I'm in between, or if that thing is in between rather, you should still you are, however, also it's also tracing, like it's overlapping with hold on, we need to add to this the player character. Which I think I just like have a spawned instance of somewhere. Actually. Wait, I've got two of them? Why? Oh, that one is in there. Yeah, you can fuck off. I don't need you anymore. Yeah, I probably should do it with that one actually. Seems safer that way. So we'll just add in. Oh, but you're in the persistent level, aren't you? Yeah, you're in the. You are. That's probably gonna be an issue, I imagine. Yeah, that is an issue. Oh no, that's not good. That's not good. How do we tell it to ignore the player? Oh, hold on. I never actually what did I call this again? Actors to ignore. Yeah, I did call it that. And this is a... what? Death Knight and Night Boss are two different classes? What the fuck am I doing with my life? What kind of classes is the one that I have in here? Yeah, this is a Test Knight. Does that fuck anything up? I don't think it does. It might. Oh yeah, because we're casting here to Night Boss. Oh, Night Boss is the C++ class, that's probably it. Well... it's fine. See, it's all fixed up. That easily. So now we can get the actors to ignore, which I made a typo in, apparently. It probably still ignores the player. But let's see. It doesn't ignore the player, rather, so it's still going to have a similar issue as we had before. Yeah, so it immediately... Okay, I have an over-engineered solution to this. Don't you worry, I always do. We'll get the player character location, and we'll also get the forwards vector for the player actor. Then we'll multiply that forward vector with the radius of the capsule. Radius of the capsule, actually probably good idea to say +1. Let's say +5, just to be sure. And that will be our start location. That should, in theory, prevent that issue. I mean, it didn't. I don't know what's happening. He's all the way the fuck over there. What the hell? What the actual... What did I do? I did something. Wait. Oh, we need to add that. No, that makes sense. We didn't add the original location back in, so... It was tracing from world origin, which is not great. It's still doing the same thing. So that didn't actually fix my issue, did it? We have the actor location plus its forward vector multiplied by the radius +5. Just to test if we do that +100 instead. I mean, that definitely traces in front, but it doesn't ignore... Oh! I know what the issue is. I don't think I maybe even needed to put that to 100. The issue is that it also is overlapping with the arena under it. So we'll just say, hey, cylinder 2, also ignore that. Because we have this barrier anyway, and this is the thing that is checking for the collision anyway. So that should be fine. Okay, so now it's actually appearing in front of me, right? It is. But if I stand up real close to here, it kind of bugs out. But hey, the wonderful thing is, it can now teleport back in bounds. So I can get away with things being buggy. Because he's got a way to teleport back into bounds. That's actually a really wonderful side effect that allows me to be lazy. I kind of like that idea. Okay, yeah, cool. Neat. Nice. I didn't think about that, but that works out real well for me. Okay, let's now that we have that working, let's not draw these debug things anymore because they're annoying. And when we set the new actual location, I think we're like adding something to it or something. Why does he teleport up higher? We have the forward vector. We normalize that. I don't think we need to normalize it anymore, actually. We multiply by 400. We do all that. Get player character, actual location. Do we not need to do that anymore? Did we never need to do that in the first place? Is the question. Actually, if we're going to continue testing, maybe having a thing that draws debug capsules for us, not a bad idea. I mean, it works for me the way it works now, so that's kind of fine. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's totally fine. Okay. Okay. We do actually like, have some. Could you please shut the fuck up? My phone's honestly on the other side of the room, and it's that loud. Which could either mean I have a very loud phone or a very small room. Or both. I'll just tell you now. It's okay. Let's fix the issue that he teleports right away, because I don't want him to teleport right away. Can I set a cooldown or a timer or whatever? Is there anything Unreal AI behavior tree? Allow task only after certain time. There's gotta be something I can do to do that, right? Execute task only once. Also a way to do that, presumably. So this should probably be a tag cooldown instead. Not a set tag cooldown. Quite the opposite of what I want in fact. I just want to check a tag cooldown. So if I say attack, not attack basic probably. I have like an ultimate attack cooldown, right? Yeah, we can do that one. So how does this one work? A decorator note that bases its condition on whether a cooldown timer based on a gameplay tag has expired. Add sets cooldown on deactivation. I don't want that. I don't need you to abort anything unnecessarily. And then what I can do is I can, on the very left here, I can make a set tag cooldown. That's the very first fucking thing that we do. So actually like physically need to be more left. and only allow it to do that after like the first 10 seconds. And then make it only do this the first time. Behavior tree task only once. You can't tell me that there's not an easy way to do this. I'm just looking through a forum post at the moment. Hold on a moment. We'll figure this out, I'm sure. Is there any way to skip behavior tree tasks after being called once? Simplest solution is to add a special context variable in the blackboard. This variable will keep the example of the... Yeah, okay, so just add a bool. I get the point. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's a very loud ringtone. It's also like acoustically in a very good position to like amplify sounds throughout the room, because it's like up against a wall that's on an angle, so it like bounces the... Is that true? Yeah, the speakers are up on top, so it like directly is bouncing off of that diagonal wall into the rest of the room, which is probably amplifying that quite a bit. I guess we just add that decorator. That's fine. Blackboard decorator. Just one bool. We can set tag cooldown. Can I? How do I set that again? I mean, watch time is always nice to have. So if you want to look and just hang out, that's cool. Always appreciate it. Unreal AI behavior tree sets blackboard bool. Set blackboard value in tree. Yeah, that's... I mean, I know how to get them. I just need to make a task to do that. I would really rather not. Maybe I have a service for that? Update heal enemy bool. I mean, it's not... doesn't let me check a bool. Probably should have made a more generalized function for that, to be honest with you, but... Blackboard... We'll just make that real quick then. New task. Blueprint base. Fucking just throw it in content, that's fine. BT task. Set blackboard bool. Two variables. 140 value. and one for the key. Execute AI. The key should be a blackboard key. It's called a blackboard key, right? Blackboard with an A, not with an O. Yeah, blackboard key selector. There we go. And simply set key as. Set value as. Finish, execute. It's just that easy. And then instead we make this a sequence. It's a very, very long line. Going all the way over there, but we set that tag cooldown, and then we set blackboard bool key. And we check to see if it's not set. And then we should have now fixed the issue where he teleports in right at the start of the fight. I hope. And if it doesn't, I'm going to lose my mind. Okay, that didn't fix it. Okay, let me try it again while obscuring my second screen, so I'm not going to be able to see chat again for a bit. Just to see what happens in the AI as it spawns in. Okay, so it does do that. Like, it does go over here for like a second. So it should set this tag cooldown, and then we have why does it still allow me to go through there? The issue is that my boss fight shouldn't start with a bounce, but you're not wrong. Matter of fact, you're quite right. It's just very frustrating because right now we're skipping a introductory cutscene because we're testing. There should be like an introductory cutscene, at which point you probably don't regain control of the character soon enough to dodge that to begin with. And it's also the first boss fight of the game, so it probably shouldn't be quite this unfair. What I'm not quite understanding is I'm checking attack cooldown.alt, which is the one that I'm setting here. So it shouldn't, like, unless I'm understanding this cooldown thing wrong, which would be a real mind blow since I've been using this for a while now. A decorator node that bases its condition on whether or not a cooldown timer on a gameplay tag has expired. Neat. Set cooldown tag value. Use with cooldown tag decorators to prevent behavior tree execution. That's kind of what I'm like doing here. It's like not doing what I wanted to do. I was doing good up until about 2 minutes ago, at which point I'm losing my mind. Okay, so if we go into here now, it's just doing this over and over and over again. That makes sense. That's expected behavior. Let's just add a wait node for like a second. When in doubt, just wait. It's my life motto. Does he still pounds on me? No. Okay, that's good. It's real good shit. My VRAM is absolutely, like, dying. He also, like, just running into him kind of lets you avoid his attack, which is not great. But that's all fine in reality. So yeah, we still need to add in that AoE attack to prevent him from, like, being cheesed this easily. Because this is, I don't know. Don't know if you're looking at this, but that's, like, not a lot of fun. How to change the left mouse button text to image of left mouse button. For example, controls tab setting. Well, first you need an image of the left mouse button. That's step number one. It's like that's honestly, at this point, I do think that what the fuck just happened there? At this point, I do think that, like, Unreal should probably come with icons for, like, just default icons for, like, keyboard and controller inputs, because it still doesn't. And obviously, for most games, you would have a preference for, like, custom icons, obviously, but even just for prototyping, it would be nice to have, like, a default set of icons, which... I mean, there's a lot of assets on the Unreal Marketplace that give you that for like $5, I suppose, so it's not that big a deal. Teleport animation is nice. It's yeah, I kind of forgot to add that back in, but it's a number of different particle systems that, oh man. Okay, so actually what we are finding here is that my goal of, hey, make the aggressive state too aggressive to deal with, seems to be coming true. You shouldn't fight him head on. I think that's working. So that's good. Now we just need to make sure that that's communicated to the player, which is the difficult part. How can I change the text in the input key selector to an image? I can't help you off the top of my head. If you're referring to my Common UI tutorial video, it's been a while since I made that. I don't remember all the details. If you just mean as a general question, I have even less of an idea. Yeah, probably search that on YouTube. I mean, I'm kind of in the middle of something right now. Because as much as I'd like to help, I'm working on my own stuff and not exactly doing a Q&A right now. So, okay. Well, that attack also works a lot better now that it has particle systems attached to it. Holy hell. All that said, now that I'm actually like paying the slightest amount of attention, it's actually kind of doable doing this fight. Oh, no. Never mind. Oh my god. I mean, I kind of asked for that one, didn't I? That is just horrible. That is the fucking worst. Okay, so probably what we want to do is right now, that first phase lasts for like 35 to 45 seconds. What we probably want to do is make that a lot shorter. And then when he goes into his passive state, we should probably just like do an animation where he sits down and doesn't do anything to really communicate to you like, now is the time to hit him. So let's run this every like 25 seconds. Does that seem reasonable? Oh no. 20 with a deviation of 2. 18 to 22 seconds. Yeah, the first phase is very cheesable. This first phase is going to keep being cheesable because I don't know if I've shown it off yet, but like this is the first phase, which is from 100% HP to 70% HP. When you get to 70% HP and below, it moves to phase 2 until you reach 30%. And here he gets that extra teleport attack, which he does. And here I'm also going to start adding in the... Honestly, maybe the teleport attack will move to only the last phase, and I'll probably move this up to like 40% if I do that. Because here I'm also going to be adding a attack where he like swings a sword 360 degrees around him, so you can't as easily cheese him going back and forth. That's kind of the issue that we're having right now, as probably pretty evident. But also I think like the general design of the fight needs to accentuate these two sub-phases a little bit more, like the combat state and the passive state. Where this is just try not to die, and this is deal a lot of damage. And I don't think that works so well if you need to like run away for like a minute. Like, we probably should have it to the point where you could do this for the first phase at least. But if you just absolutely go to town on him during the first phase, you're going to get into his second phase. Yeah, you see, are we in phase 3 right now? I think we are. We shouldn't be, but I think we are. Hold on. What in the actual fuck is going on? We'll figure it out, surely. What the? Please, control my character. So yeah, we should do something where... Okay, just because I am losing my mind as well, we're going to make this like passive state play an animation. As well. I already have the perfect animation for it actually. If I... Oh, but I don't really. Because what I have is I have this animation, which kind of works, but only through the lens of the camera. So I have this animation, right, where he does that. But that's an animation that doesn't really work on the whole body, because it's supposed to only show like parts of the body when he's moving. Okay, I've got an idea. This will be sit down animation. We can use keyframes up to this point and then up to that one as well. So this whole ordeal will be the sitting down animation, except of course it's going to be reversed and we're not going to be using any camera cuts for it. And then we don't need to animate any of these cameras either. So we can just throw them all out. We don't need the blocking volume here. We don't need camera cuts at all. We don't need events. We don't need any of this shit. That's a lot more manageable now. Okay, now my question is there a good, easy way to say, hey, take these keyframes and time reverse them? Because I know that After Effects has a very easy, just like 2-click button for that. Please tell me I can just do that as well. I don't think I can. Dark Souls 3 boss Prince. I don't think I've fought that boss yet. Honestly, I gave up on Dark Souls 3 like... I beat the big ass tree motherfucker. Like the tree. I think it was a tree anyway. The one you fight in the courtyard and then you fall through the floor and you fight it in a cavern. Very shortly after that I just like gave up because it was a real hard game and I had other things to do in my life. I should probably go back to it at some point for inspiration's sake. Can I just like right click this and say, or even better, can I do that? I can. Ooh, that's really good. The fact that I can do that is amazing. Because now it's reversed, right? Yes. And actually it works relatively well. So if I just say like, hey, make this like 120 frames long, make it a lot faster. Even faster. Like make it 60 frames. Maybe that's a little too fast. 73, the magic number. Yeah, no, I think that works. And I already have an animation that's just that pose, so I can also just have him do that pose endlessly. And then if I reverse this animation, he just gets up again. Fantastic, I've made this animation. Yeah, I've been replaying, well, it's been like 2 months since the last time I opened the game. I've been replaying through the Kingdom Hearts series as well for some like gameplay feel inspiration. It's kind of like the hack and slash part of the game is very much inspired by that, and then there's a lot of Dark Souls inspiration as well, as is very evident, I would guess. Bosses, knights, oh, we'll put it in the proper folder. I organized this for a reason. I probably should use the organization. Bosses, knights, and then animation sequences. Knights, stand up. Or is it sit down? I think it's stand up. Right? No, it's sit down. Let's just make sure that everything is named properly. So animations, characters, bosses. It should really just remember the last folder that you save an animation into. Can't be that difficult to just save that as a path somewhere and use that as your default rather than I don't even know. Oh, it tries to save it to the same folder that the skeleton is in. I suppose that makes a certain amount of sense as well. I think I literally had the same conversation on Friday. Huh. Well. Knights sit down. So that does the thing, right? Well, yeah, He's not holding the sword. Like, the sword is a separate object, so this looks goofy as all hell. And you can definitely, like, in here you can tell that this animation wasn't really made with seeing the whole body in mind. And it's like much more of a cinematic shot animation than a gameplay animation, but I think this works decently well. So that should probably be a montage. Yeah, what it should do is we have night sit down. We create a montage for that. Now we copy that montage and we make one for stand up as well. And this one will just have a play rate of, can I say -1? I can. That's amazing. So this will have a blend in time of 0, blend out time is probably fine. And this one has a blend in time but no blend out time. And then in his animation blueprint we need to figure out how we're going to... I suppose we just add a blend by pool. And we simply use the sitting down animation pose. Can we just like put in a pose here? Is that a thing we can do? Promote a variable. B is resting. At first I animated everything in Blender, but I kept having import or export, I still don't know, issues with the animations where they wouldn't be consistent between how they looked in Blender and how they looked in Unreal, and for the most part that wasn't really an issue. It was like minor differences, but specifically when I started working on this dude, he suddenly like had his elbows clipping through his stomach and stuff like that, because some of the animations make those two parts get really close together. And I spent like a day and a half trying to fix it, and I did everything under the sun to... Oh no. Somebody's making a lot of noise. Yeah, I was kind of afraid that was happening. I did everything under the sun to try to fix that, and I didn't. I still have no idea what the issue was. So what I ended up doing is I just ended up making a control rig for at least this character, and I figured, you know what, if I'm going to change over to that for like workflow reasons, also for cinematic cutscenes and stuff like that, it's probably a good idea to also have a control rig for the player character, at which point I might as well do all of the animations for the gameplay on control rig as well. I fucking hope that I didn't lose any important stuff. And now whenever I add in a new 22 assets, holy hell, I had a lot of things open. Whenever I add in like a new character, I rig them up entirely in Unreal, because I opened up my project twice. Let me check real quick if somebody's like trying to... No, nobody like texted me. Maybe like one of my people living in the building. I was gonna say roommate, but it's not technically a roommate. Trying to get a hold of me, but nobody texted me, so it's probably not somebody banging on my door, so I don't care. Anyway. We still have those montages, and let's see if I go to my behavior tree. Still has all the stuff that I put in there. I don't think we really lost any progress when we crashed there. Still, crashing is never a fun thing. So the respos blend by bool. There probably is a better way to do this, but I don't really care. Promote variable b is resting. Oh, already have that hooked up. Okay. Okay, so that is the thing that crashed my game. It's probably the fact that I'm trying to blend with a pose. But why does it allow you to do that if that crashes the engine? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Luckily, I have a 1 frame long animation that does the same thing, so we'll just use that instead. If you insist on being a little bitch, I'll find a workaround. That's kind of what like this whole profession is about, isn't it? Is just doing things, having them not work for no reason, and then doing the same thing in a different way. Kneel pose. There we go. Blend by bool. Surely this is not going to be an issue now. Okay, so B is resting. Yeah, it's just Unreal being Unreal. It does that. It just decides to crash sometimes. Okay, it still crashes. That's less than ideal. Oh, I mean, it is because of some like null points, I'm aware, but it's not because of my code for a change. At least not what I think. No, I don't really think like anything to do with that could ever be an issue. Unless the issue is that I'm using a bool that doesn't get a value. It's kind of annoying. I mean, if we're doing that anyway, we might as well try to use the pose again. Let's try to compile without using that variable. It still crashes. All right. I'm confused. Officially, really confused. It doesn't help that it takes a minute every time that I need to load up the project again. Yeah, like a bool can't be the issue. Because the moment it is initialized, it should just like have a value of 0, right? It should just have a value false. It just says error violation trying to access and then the memory address, which I can look up the memory address, I suppose. But it probably just tries. It's probably a null reference issue. Well, like it also okay. So Yeah, that's definitely that's definitely a null reference issue. Let's throw that into Google real quick. It's trying to no, it's not a null reference actually. It's trying to access memory address that doesn't have permissions to. Huh. So there's something else happening in that animation blueprint which is crashing my engine. I wonder what. I don't think I'm doing like any thread unsafe stuff or anything. In some of my other blueprints, I definitely am doing things that you probably shouldn't. I don't think in this one I am. Well, let's just take a look. But yeah, that is not a null reference, I don't think. So at least we know that now. Can we please dock this? Thank you. So anywhere in here, am I doing anything that could potentially be causing issues? Not really. So you're either trying to reference a variable which is set to private. No, it's not even that. It's that you just simply cannot do. What it seems to be doing is it seems to be trying to like access a memory address, not even like a specific value that it's trying. It's just trying to access a memory address, which presumably is like administration rights only, probably. So probably if I run this as administrator, I'm guessing that it probably, I'm saying probably a lot because I'm not entirely sure. It likely wouldn't be an issue, but that's not really a fix. So this kind of seems like an Unreal bug and not a my problem bug. So what I'm gonna do, this is a real big brain move. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to add this blend by bool. And I'm going to do everything like I did before. I'm just not going to compile it. I'm going to close the engine and reopen it. And that's going to make it compile. And that might... that kind of workaround has worked in the past. Is it amazing? No, it's not. Is resting. Okay, don't compile. Just save. Close the engine. And reopen the engine. I do have a cast, but it only executes the rest of the code when that cast is successful. So that's not it either. Also, that would then, like if it was a cast failure thing, that would result in a null pointer error. Which is what I assumed we were dealing with in the first place, because that I can deal with. But this doesn't seem to be a null pointer thing. But as you can see, now it's compiled and saved. So, hooray! It's a bitch-ass workaround, but it works. So, I don't know. Like, this can't give any issues. Like, this is trying to cast the pawn owner, which is a test knight, to test knight, which that just works, and that should still only crash the game on runtime and not when I'm trying to compile this blueprint to begin with. And if this cast were to fail, like it just simply doesn't do anything. It only executes everything after it that accesses this if the cast is successful. Casting node in Unreal is a lot more friendly for that than casting in C++ itself. Because it has these two execution paths that come out of it, which is very intuitive, very nice. All that said though, now I need to set a value to resting. So what we do is at the very end of this montage, and now I'm thinking maybe I put this in the wrong place. Maybe we should put this before the montage, not after it. We'll try it this way first, just so that I don't have to recompile. And at the very end here, we don't have any blend out time. Let's just, like that, put a animation notify for this is sit down, enable rest, and then at the standing up, oh wait a second, that's really confusing. We'll be fine. And then, oh no, actually it's the same position, that makes sense. Add notify, disable rest. And then we're gonna have to do the same fucking thing again in a moment. Because we're adding some events here. But this should just be a set resting to true and to false. And then we just need to change a couple of things in the AI behavior tree to make this work a little bit better. But that's all animation driven, so that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. It can't see it as default slot. Default slot should always be last, always. I doubt that's the issue, because it also crashes if I don't have this, but if you want to try it out, I can do that. I don't think that the default slot being last in the entire chain necessarily has anything to do with this. But let's just give it a shot. See, still crashes. That's I'm fairly certain I have other animation blueprints where it's not the last thing anyway. It might be like a best practice kind of thing, because it's like a slot that influences the entire skeleton. Which is fair. But like, I don't think there's any technical reason other than that to have it at the end. And if you want something that overrides whatever your default slot is doing, it still makes sense to put stuff after it. And in this case, if my character is resting, I don't want it to ever play any animation stuff. So I still do think that it makes sense to have it for the second last thing there. So yeah, let's change this back around, because that makes a bit more sense. Note: source pose was visible but ignored. I'm just going to use the sit down animation instead, because that worries me. Probably has no reason to worry me, but I mean, I'm gonna try. It didn't work, but I tried. Now your crash should be then, I believe I can always be wrong. Due to a valid node missing. Yeah, I don't think that it is. To be honest, Okay, I don't have a crash report at the moment anymore. Can you just crash it again? Like, there's nothing in this which reasonably... Like, even if I disable all the stuff that we just added, it still does crash. So it's just Unreal being Unreal. It's just an engine bug, I'm pretty sure. Like, even if there's nothing going into the output pose here. Okay, so that does actually... No, that still does crash it. But it does crash in a different way, which is exciting. So, there's that. Maybe adds valid nodes? I have no idea what you mean by that. If you mean that macro node for is valid, there's no place in my blueprint that like that's already done in this casting node is kind of the thing. And once again, if any of this is the reason that it crashes, this only like this shouldn't crash anything on compiling. This should only crash things on runtime. But we have this somewhat working now, so I'm going to like just ignore this for the time being. And we will we'll do this as a sequence. I'll just remove this for now. What we'll do is we will make a quick task. Blueprint base, BT task play montage, which might be a pre-existing task now that I think about it. Montage? Yeah, I just made that fucking smart ass. Of course that, yeah, of course that works. Execute AI. Play montage. Control pawn. Cast to character. Get mesh. And this will be a variable. And then I suppose what we want to do is on completed, we want to finish executes. Yeah. Can you link like an idle animation? I'm not gonna go back and test that again. I honestly think that if I like none of this should be causing that. And again, if I just have this portion of it, which is just my idle and walking blend space and a animation slot in there, it still does crash. So I'm not entirely sure what is causing it, but I'm 95% sure that it's not something like in here. Potentially it could be something to do with the animation notifies somewhere. That is the only reasonable thing that I can assume at this point, but I do think that it is more of a Unreal is just fucking up kind of thing. Okay, so then we'll wait. Let's say 10 seconds, and then we'll play another montage. So we'll do the sit down montage, and then we'll do the stand up montage, and we'll make this a little bit shorter to like test this a bit easier. We actually want to probably stop movement as well first. All my crashes are valid nodes related, so I was wondering. I'm still not entirely sure what you mean with with valid nodes. Do you mean like do you mean this node? Because if you mean this node, I can straight up promise you that that is not the issue. Okay, now that we have this set up, let's save everything, and it's probably going to crash again because it's going to want me to compile. Oh, it might have been because the sequencer is still open on one of these things. I can imagine it not liking that. Let's try for shits and giggles. That's still, no, it doesn't crash. I think it was that. Okay, so that's probably the issue. The issue was that I was editing one of the animations that it's using. I think that was the issue. Which is very much a Unreal being Unreal kind of moment. Okay, let's try to see if we can... Okay, so you sit down. Okay, you're only supposed to do that once. And... Oh my... Oh no. Oh no, that makes sense actually. Let's... Yeah, we don't want you to set the enum value back there. What we want you to do is we want you to set the enum value at the very end again. Okay. Let's make a task for that as well then. BT task set boss state enum. We want the enum key. And we want to set value as enum, and we probably want to have value. What did we call this? Like boss state or something like that? Night boss state. Probably just generally boss state, honestly. I should just hook that up into there. And then finish executes. I probably should tell it that it was a success just to be sure. Not going to go through all those again. Set boss state enum. Value back to aggressive. Okay, so now everything should be like timing wise and state wise driven through those animations again. This is the idea anyway. Knight asserting dominance. This is just, at the moment at least he's not T-posing. That's a good start. Just, okay, sit the fuck down. He does it twice. We'll figure out why in a moment. I just need him to stand up. Mate, why are you not standing up? Because you're resting. Oh, yeah, no, that is an issue. I understand. That is an issue. These definitely should be after it. I'm scared to compile at this point. It works. Okay, that's good. So yeah, just to be fair here, I'm not going to get to making that extra animation for the 360 attack. Yeah, he does that twice. Again, we'll figure it out. Why does he do it a few? Why does he do it a few times? I don't understand. Stand up, sit down. This is... Wait, this is stand up? No. It still doesn't make full sense why he repeats all that shit a few times. But it makes a bit more sense now. Just sit the fuck down, please. Thank you. Okay, he does it once. He's gonna do it again, because he just likes to do that. Yeah, I don't understand. Enable rest, and then we have here... Can I change anything about this segment itself? If we just say, hey, you... Oh, no. Loop count 1. Start time, end time. Yeah, I think what I need to do is I just need to make a separate animation for him standing up, because this is just doing weird stuff. Even if I... Just to test, right? Even if I just make both of them stand-up animations, he just doesn't do that animation. And I'm guessing it has something to do with the fact that the play rate stuff is being a little weird. Yeah, see? He's playing it in the right direction, and he shouldn't be. I'll fix that later. I think this is a pretty good point to end it off. We've been live for 2.5 hours. We've actually made a pretty decent amount of progress. Not as much as I would have liked, but when do we do as much as I like? Almost never. Because I tend to get distracted when I'm live streaming, which is fun. It's fun to explore and have fun and just hang out together. But it does mean I work a little bit slower, which I complain about every single time I'm live. But I do still really like doing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. We'll be back on Friday with more stuff, and at that point I'll probably have done most of the extra stuff on the night. To be honest, I'll probably do that throughout the week. So I don't know what we'll be doing on Friday. Maybe some rigging and animation stuff for the next character. Maybe some modeling. Maybe we'll do some puzzle programming. Those are the 3 things that I have like high up on my to-do list at the moment. Also, I have some other to-do stuff. What was it again? Yeah, nothing that's fun to do on stream. Okay. So those are the 3 things: rigging, animation, modeling, or puzzle programming are the options. If you want to have your voice heard on that, do join the Discord, where I, before streaming, have gotten into the habit of posting a little poll to ask people like, hey, what do you want me to do tonight? So there's a link down below in the description for that. And I will hopefully see everybody back on a Friday or next week or whatever. See you then. It's been a good one.